Alrighty, all, my name is Tommy, and of course I am with Z Grills, and on today's show we are going to take a little 2.5 pound tri-tip and turn it into a brisket. And yes, you heard that right, a brisket. Look, we are going to take this little tri-tip, we are going to treat it just like a brisket. I will fire up my Z Grills 1100 2B. I will load it up with cherry pellets, and I will low smoke it at about 250 Fahrenheit. We will take it right up to the stall. At that point, I will get it out. I will get it on the board. I will wrap it up in some butcher paper and get it back on the pit, and we will take this bad boy right up to toothpick tender. This is going to be a fun show for sure. At that point, I will pair it out with some nice slaw and some nice pickles, along with a little bit of mac and cheese. This is going to be a fun day for sure. What I want to do here is turn our attention down to the board and show you exactly how we're going to prep out this tri-tip. So look, there is my little 2.5, 2 3/4 pound tri-tip. The first thing to do is to get that sucker dried off. Now look, we do have a little top fat on there, not much, but a little bit. Instead of me trying to remove it, I am just going to do a quick score. And keep in mind, we are barely going in it on the other side, on the back end. We do have a little bit of silver skin, and that I will just try to get off. Not a big deal if some fat, some silver skin is left on, and that is my Texas bulge. So look, we are treating this just like a brisket, which means basically you don't want any fancy rubs. You want to go with that basic salt, pepper, and granulated garlic, which is basically what this rub is going to provide. So look, that is all we need to do to this. Again, we are treating this just like a brisket. So you can go with a kosher salt and black pepper and a little bit of granulated garlic. You don't want anything fancy on it. So we are just going to keep it like this. Let's get on over to the pit. Let's get it in. Let's temp gauge it, because we want to keep an eye on this. Again, we want to bring this right up to that stall at about 160 or so. Come on. With times and temps in such a small piece of meat, you are definitely going to want to get a probe inside it. And that is all there is to that. I will see you guys in a bit. Alrighty, look, we are 2 hours in on this cook, and I got to tell you, man, and this always happens, and I just want to point it out here. You'll go from, 40 internal on the meat right up to 140, 150 real quick. Sometimes you'll get there in an hour and a half. Don't thread it, perfectly normal. It'll start to slow down once it hits that 140 to 150 to 160 range. That's when you're starting to approach the stall. Let's go in. I got a 50/50 apple cider vinegar water. I want to get a little bit of moisture on the meat, and I also do want to check out that bark. And at that point, we will just let it run right up to the stall. Yeah. So right off the bat here, I am just taken aback by this, by the color that we are getting out of this piece of meat, man. It is a gorgeous color, like a cherry color. We will give it that quick spritz. We will close it down, and we will continue to build that bark. Oh man, that's a good color. Yeah. All right, guys. Look, one thing is for sure, I am definitely digging the color. Everything looks perfect, and I will see yous in a bit. Alrighty, look, we are coming up to that 3.5 hour mark, and as noted before in the last segment, we've been hanging right around that 165 internal, probably for about an hour, hour and 20 minutes or so. We've developed a nice bark, and that is what I am interested in at this point. So let's go in. We are going to go on to the next step. Remember, we are treating this just like a brisket, so that next step is going to be to wrap it. And my Z Grills 1100 2B is definitely laying down the smoke. And again, man, that color is just off the charts. Oh, yeah. That's gorgeous. All right, guys, so look, as you can see what I am doing here, I've got a little bit of tallow. I am just going to get a little bit on the paper just to get a little bit of moisture inside the wrapping. It doesn't take much. If you didn't have the tallow, you can just hit it with some apple cider vinegar, a little bit of water, or a little bit of apple juice. And this should just help keep plenty of moisture inside the paper, man. It's just as this tri-tip finishes off. And you are good to go. Also, another little tip here, when we pulled the little tri off, whether you're doing a tri or a brisket or whatever, we pulled it off at about 164. When we probe it and get it back on the pit, we definitely want to be within that 162 to 164, 165 range. You don't want to probe it, miss the spot, and probe it at 150, because you will probably overcook. Oh, yeah. Let's close it up, and we still got about another 3-4 hours to go, I do believe, but we will see. So we are right at that 6-hour mark, and we are reading 202 internal. Let's go in. I got my handheld all ready. I want to probe it. It has to be probing like butter. Let's check that out. If everything checks good, I got a blanket here. We will get it wrapped up, and the rest begins. Oh man, oh. And she is going like butter. Yeah. All right, I don't want to poke it too much, but she is definitely probing like butter. So like I said, we will get it off. I'll get it in the blanket here, and then I'll bring you guys back when it's time to unveil. All right, you Z grillers, and the moment of truth is upon us. Look, I let this rest for about, I'd say probably 2 hours. Could have let it rest a little bit longer, but hey man, when dinner time comes, you gotta eat. I mean, you know, with that beef tallow I put in there, you know she's going to be plenty of moist. I gotta say, I definitely like what I see. Definitely got plenty of moisture in there. I'm slicing this whole thing up here because I want to show you basically how I am going to serve this. I got some guests coming in a little while. I mean, she is definitely moist. There is no doubt about it. Pull apart. Oh, yeah. Quick taste test before I set up a plate. I'll tell you, man, that is pretty, I'm a little bit shocked, man. That is pretty good, man. It is the best way I can describe this is a cross between a steak and a brisket, you know, somewhere in between. Anyway, let me put this here on the side. Let me get my tray. Let me set this up as I will set it up, and we will close out the show. So look, man, that is it for this one. And this is the way I would set it up on a, well, this is the way I do have it set up. Like I said, I have some people coming over, kind of help yourself. I am going to serve it out with a little horseradish sauce. And you know, this is a nice BBQ smorgasbord, would you say, right here. It is definitely good. I got my mac and cheese, I got my coleslaw, I got my tri-tip, I was gonna say brisket, I got my tri-tip around here, and I got a little bit of nuggets over here. So look, in closing out this one, don't forget this recipe here will be blogged down in the description. Also, Z Grill's YouTube channel, you got the Facebook, you got the Instagram, and also the web page. Follow them, and Z Grills will have you grilling all year long. Again, my name is Tommy. I will be back here next month to bring you some pretty cool recipes, so make sure you tune in for that. And until next time, we will see you soon.